Hey, good afternoon, Millbox users. Very glad to be talking to you today. I want to take this opportunity to just say thank you for using Millbox. I believe it's the very best CAM software in the world, hands down. And let's go through some of the features that make Millbox the greatest. I know we have a mixed crowd out here today, right? Some people haven't had any updates for Millbox in a long time. Some people try to keep updated. So we have a very mixed crowd. I just want to show you what you've been missing out on if you haven't updated in a while. Maybe you have updated and you just didn't know about all the features that are at your fingertips. So let's go through this together. Ultimately, I just want to enhance your productivity, right? That's what it's all about. We want to make sure you are as efficient as possible. So it sort of begs the question, what even are annual updates? What is it? What's a software update? Why do I have to do it? What's it all about? Well, very simply, annual updates benefit you in a few different ways, and I'll get to the benefits in a moment. But with Millbox, we sort of have a unique approach to annual updates. First off, they are annual. You don't have to pay monthly or anything like that. You can buy them annually. The sooner in the year you do that, the better. And what you're doing is you're buying access to updates all throughout the year. So if you buy in January, February, March, whatever month you buy in, the rest of that calendar year, all the way until December 31st, you can update as many times as you want. We do release new features all throughout the year. We don't hold back features until right at January or a new release or something like that. A lot of software companies do that. We prefer to release those features and let you start benefiting from those as we release those features. So taking advantage of annual updates is going to benefit you in several ways. Let's talk about those benefits real quick, and then I want to show you some of those benefits. All right, the first benefit is that by staying up to date on your annual updates, by being on 2021 for annual updates, you're going to avoid production halting downtime. What do I mean by that? Well, Zahn's support group, the CIMSystem support group, easily 19 times out of 20, if somebody calls in about something that halted their production on the CAM, on the software, that fix has already been created in the form of an update. Usually what feels like a bug or some kind of computer issue is actually just a disconnect between Windows. A lot of times Windows has done an update and you just haven't done an update on your CAM software. The same thing can happen on the CAD side. All software companies now have to keep up with all these automatic updates. They do happen automatically to your computer. Didn't used to happen that way years and years ago, but just within the last 5 years or so, all software companies really have to keep up with Windows updates, security updates, all those things that automatically happen and really can potentially give you downtime on your computer, and we don't want to see that happen. So having access to updates as we keep up with all the technology out there is the best way to avoid downtime. Second benefit that I want to talk to you about is that staying current on your annual updates with Millbox is going to keep you right on the cutting edge of technology. As new materials come out, and they're coming out every day, right? New shades come out, all that kind of stuff. New tooling comes out. Just new options in our industry. All of those things are available only in the newest versions of the software. Right? We don't go back to the 2018 version and put the newest material out and that sort of thing. So if you want to be trying new things, you want to mill in amber, you want to mill in Emacs and some of these newer technologies, you really you must stay up to date. And let's face it, if you're not staying up to date, the lab down the road is, and you're falling further and further behind. I don't want to see that happen to you. So please stay current on your annual updates. It's definitely a benefit to you to do that. Another benefit of staying current on your annual updates for your CAM software is that it's going to actually help you avoid a great big expense for troubleshooting the software. So what happens is your Windows will update automatically, and maybe you're still on 2018. That was the last year you paid for your annual updates. You just haven't updated for whatever reason, meant to, but didn't get it done. Well, here it is 2021, and the only way to fix that issue that you're having that feels like a bug to you, which is really just a software patch, is to update it. Well, now you have to pay for each of those years that you missed. You have to pay for 2019, you have to pay for 2020, and you have to pay for 2021. That gets to be a large expense. For a lot of us, if the grass gets too long, it gets really difficult to cut that grass. And you put it off, the longer you put it off, the harder it is to do, right? I don't want to see that happen to you. So please get caught up and then stay caught up, because that's the best thing to do. Cut the grass weekly, pay for annual updates annually. That's the best thing for you. Another benefit to you, and this is the fourth and final benefit before I show you some of these benefits, I want to get your mill to optimal efficiency. What am I talking about here? Well, all of these features that we implement, we're taking feedback from lab owners, from resellers, some, but mainly the end users, you. The person using the software is giving us feedback all around the world. So, it used to be that each lab or each clinic really needed their own engineer, their process engineer, to make things more efficient in their lab. And there was a lot of, a lot of work that went into that. Of course, a lot of time and a lot of money. These days, what Millbox has decided to do is to take that feedback from all around the world, and we implement strategy changes, and we share those with all Millbox users. We can tweak your strategy. Of course, Zahn can tweak your strategy, and they can walk you through that at Zahn support. But by and large, we share the strategy improvements that we've learned about, and certainly we share the bug fixes and all the patch updates and all the new features. And to take advantage of all that, you need to be on the newest software. So get current on your annual updates. Those are the 4 benefits, all right? So you say, Eric, show me some of these improvements. Show me what I'm missing out on. Well, I'm glad to do that, but big picture, here's a couple numbers for you. So 809 improvements and optimizations we've had in Millbox just since 2017. That's a lot of, you can see we're doing a lot of work. There's a lot of those are patches and keep ups with other software, but hey, an awful lot of those are improvements that you guys have suggested. So thank you. 36 is the number of actual new features. It didn't have this before, so that's not an improvement. I'm making a distinction here. An improvement is just taking a current feature and making it faster, better, smarter. We've done a lot of those. But a brand new feature, 36 of those just since 2019. That's awesome. So thank you for the new feature comments and suggestions. We really take those serious, and we implement them in the newest versions. Let me show you a few of these features, all right? So first one I want to talk to you about, here's a picture of it, and I want to show you in the software itself here in a moment how it works. But queued import, you might just say smart import or multiple import of restorations. So instead of loading your restorations one at a time, which, hey, if you're on some 3D, that's a great software. That's our software, our flagship software out to the market. We've had so many improvements since then. On some 3D and even early versions of Millbox, you can only load one file at a time. You can see here on the screen, you're loading 14 files. Up to 14 files in Millbox. That's a lot quicker. This is a huge time-saving feature. So let me see if I can show you this within Millbox. If you're new to Millbox, it's pretty easy. You're going to go to New Job, and you're going to choose your machine. So let's say you have a 52D, and you want to mill out in zirconium. So we have our 3 fixture types here. I'm going to choose the C-clamp. If you don't know about the C-clamp fixture, that's how you can do 90-degree milling. It's pretty awesome. If you're up to date on your software, it's not in the oldest versions of the software. But if you need a C-clamp, you need to talk more about that, please talk to sales at Zahn, because it's well worth it. If you're doing a bridge, if you're doing dentures and you want to do the facial side, the anterior side of those teeth. That's what 90-degree milling really helps with, to get really fine detail. So let's say I want to do some crowns. So here's how it works. You can hit Control and then choose a number of them. You can do up to 14 by hitting Control. You can skip. You hit the plus sign, and it's going to start loading those. You're going to see it start loading and queuing those up. And again, you can do up to 14 at once. I could switch over and grab a bridge. So very nice. You used to have to do that just one at a time, and you had to wait till it loaded. So huge time saver. All right. I wanted to show you that right quick. Let me go back to the presentation. Oops, let me restart here. Let me fast forward. Okay, there's queued imported restorations. Again, you're just loading all your files at once for that puck. It's a great feature. What's it mean for me practically? This is huge. So we did the math. If you're loading them one at a time on an old version of Millbox or on some 3D versus loading 14 at once, the same restoration, we're not trying to cheat or trying to inflate the numbers. This is a conservative value here. Every 500 restorations are going to save 1.5 hours just by using this feature. So update, please, use this feature. It's going to save you 1.5 hours every 500 restorations. So you do the math on how much an hour is worth to you in your lab. 80% faster loading times than they used to be. Pretty cool. So that's multiple import of restorations. Let me talk to you about another feature that you're missing out on if you're in older versions. Smart support pins is that feature. So what's Millbox do with support pins that's different than older cams, that's different than some of the other cam out on the market? Well, first, we're going to automatically add support pins, and we're going to do that in a way that just makes sense. Many of the softwares out there do not automatically put support pins in there. It kind of boggles my mind. Millbox does automatically put them in. We're going to avoid the interproximal areas. You see the areas in pink there that are automatically identified in some of the design softwares. 3Shape is the software that has given us the most information. So the time savings on this is pretty significant. You're going to save 5 to 10 seconds per restoration. That's if you're pretty fast. We timed this with one of our guys that has a lot of lab experience with it auto putting the pins on, and then with him doing it itself, and that's how we got 5 to 10 seconds per restoration. That's certainly going to add up as you do hundreds of these per day. So we're going to avoid the interproximal or the contact areas automatically. That's a good thing. We're going to automatically place the support pins along the equator line. So that's the balancing line there. You see that blue line on the screen, and you see the pins automatically placed along there. It's easy to move them if you desire to do that, if you need to do that to avoid undercuts or just your placement. You can move them, absolutely. Another cool thing is that you can choose between different shapes. It's not just the cylinder anymore. You can do a rectangular shape, or you can do a really cool shape like the smart rectangular support pin that's on the screen there. Let's say you have limited amount of space. Maybe you can only put 2 pins in there. Might be a good idea to use that smart rectangular support pin. Of course, you can change the diameter of these to make it easier for cutting and that sort of thing. Really nice feature. So again, we talked about the multiple import of your STL files. That's going to save you a bunch of time and money. Smart support pins, how much is that going to save you? Well, if you're saving 5 to 10 seconds every restoration, that adds up. So you're looking at anywhere from 41 to 83 minutes for every 500 restorations. So you're looking at another hour basically for every 500 restorations, just because Millbox does things smarter and makes things quicker for you. All right, let me show you intelligent stock selection. It's easier, really and better to show you. So let me go back to Millbox. This is another feature that I want to tell you about that you're really missing out on if you have older versions of Millbox or Sum 3D. So let me go back to my Millbox screen. Looks like I need to reopen it. Wait for it to open back up here. Again, we'll do questions at the end, so I hope I'm kind of generating some questions. I'm sure you guys using the software every day are going to come up with some good ones for me. So let's go back to the new job and let me ultimately show you this intelligent stock selection. So let's say I got a 52, I'm using zirconia. This time I'll just use the full fixture just for example. And I've got an emergency case. I really got to get it out the door. I want to do this molder. I want to make sure I choose the correct restoration type. That's huge. That's very, very essential. This is not just going to save you time, but this is going to ensure quality. If I were to choose onlay instead of full contour crown, there's different tool paths being calculated there. So if I want to really make sure I do this step right, so full contour crown, I've only got one, so I'm going to do the green check mark, and it's going to load that for me. And you'll see how much auto nesting it does here. First, it's just going to show the restoration here in a moment. And now it brings up automatically, I didn't press anything, it automatically went to the next step to stock selection. So after I've imported it, I didn't have to press anything, it automatically is telling me what to do next. All right, I see up here the at the upper right, the minimum thickness required for this restoration, and it's going to measure the height of your tallest restoration if you do multiples. So 10.44, so I need at least an 11. I can do new stock just by using the green create disk. But what would be smarter is to check my current stock. I've already milled some restorations out of several disks, so I want to look at those. That shows up here on the right. Now I have loaded 6 that are 14s and 1 that are 16s. So let me take a peek. All I did was click on that blue number. Now it automatically pulls this puck up for me. So all I have to do now is match the puck up. So what's it doing? It's going through all my 14s that I've already used. It memorizes these and remembers them for you. And it stacks them most used to least used. So I'm just going to click on the most used one, and you can see this restoration is telling me it's not going to fit. The margin lines are, are too thick there. It's going to be in the way. This next one wouldn't fit either. So it's going to grab the one, the first one that it can fit in. That's the most used. It can fit in some of these other ones as well, and I'm free to choose those. But it's going to automatically suggest the best one for me. So what a cool feature. It's helping you save material costs are, man, that's it as a lab, right? You're paying a lot of money in materials. And the more you can keep from waste on the material side, the better you guys are going to do as a lab. So I wanted to show you that feature. Let me go back to PowerPoint and I'll show you and just talk about one other very cool feature right quick. Let's see if I can do this right. Well, it keeps starting me over. Sorry, guys. If I was a little smarter, I'd probably be able to start it right where I left off. Smart support pins, we talked about that. Intelligent stock selection, we just focused in on that one. You don't have a time savings on this one, but you can do the math for yourself on material savings. It's going to be a really, really significant savings. Mobile notifications is the last pretty cool feature that I wanted to tell you about that you're missing out on if you're not up to date. So mobile notifications has been an option in the software for just a couple years now. It hasn't been too long. It's a pretty new feature. And what we're doing is we have a bot. So you can work with your Zahn support team, and they can set up any phone number you want in there, and it will send a message to that phone number. You got two options in there. It's going to send an automatic notification from the mill when the mill changes states, meaning, hey, there was an error, or when the mill is complete. So it's going to notify you of one of those two things. Hey, your job is complete, or hey, there was an error, there was something that went wrong. So this is huge, right? If you're a lab owner that's just very hands-on and very, attentive, or lab manager, you want to see what's going on with your machine or with your multiple machines, this is a great feature for you. If you're large or small labs, you are running jobs to go through the night, and maybe one of those is very, very time sensitive. So you want to know for sure, without making another trip to the lab, whether that job has completed or not. So mobile notifications is a great way to do that. Listen, we have a lot of other great features as well. You can set up a camera and do a machine live view to really, really see what's going on with the machine, to see what state it's in. The 90-degree milling I mentioned. If you're not doing 90-degree milling and doing that targeted machining on some of those fine areas, I don't want you to miss out on that anymore, because a lot of labs are taking advantage of that, and they're doing really well. Next, let me just tell you real quickly how you can find out more information about Millbox. So first, you can call your support team at Zahn. They can talk to you about Millbox. They can do demos for you. They can do a lot of great things for you. We also have CIMSystem has developed a information portal for you, so you can find answers to all Millbox related questions. We even have some information on our older software, some 3D out there. So you can see a picture of it, FAQs here, both for Millbox and for some 3D. How do I do a backup file? How do I request a temporary license? Things like that. We have answers there for you. One super cool thing is that we have video tutorials. And we'll be loading more and more videos as time goes on. But we have video tutorials, both a basic one and a more advanced one. So there's a dental crown and bridge workflow, where we really take our time and show you a lot of details on that, show you a lot of hot tips and a lot of things, margin lines, and all kinds of things there. So check that out. That is an awesome resource if you have a new employee and you're wanting to train them up quickly. Get great support there. And great information right at the tip of your fingers. Also, the second video I'd point out to you, hybrid abutment and screw retain crowns. That one's a little more advanced. Those are a little more advanced, restorations. But take a look at that one as well for doing those restoration types. Some really cool features there. Lots of help documents you can see in the lower right of my screen there. That is shortcut hotkeys. So for example, the fixture is in your way and you're just kind of like, why do I need this fixture view anyways? Control and E hides the fixture. There's a way to go through the tools and to do it real quick too, but that's, that's 2 clicks. You might as well use Control and E. It toggles it on and off. Pretty cool. All right, I want to make sure you know where that is. So you just go to Google and type in support.cimsystem.usa. All right, last but not least, I'm glad I got to explain what annual updates are all about, why you really need to pay for them, and the benefits of doing your annual updates. I want to point out to you that Zahn Dental is doing something that's awesome. It's something that's unique in the marketplace, and they're really doing you guys a favor. They're doing a catch-up plan for your Millbox updates, and you can get more information from Zahn directly. But in short, they're doing something that I've never heard of to date, and I really don't think it's going to be around too long, because it's such a good deal. No matter how far out you are, no matter how far behind you are, and even if you're way back on some 3D software, basically for the cost of 1 year of annual updates, They're going to bring you all the way current. They're going to bring you to 2021. They're going to bring you to Millbox, which is an improvement. If you're on older versions, they're going to bring you current, and they're going to make sure you have the comfort features. Comfort features have things like we talked about today, the multiple import of restoration files, the smart automatic support pins, a lot of artificial intelligence that's just doing things automatically for you in the software. The mobile notification feature, stock selection, all those are comfort features, and many more actually that we didn't have time to get to today. So I wanted to say kudos to Zahn and the great group there. Thank you for your partnership. Please take advantage and get caught up today. Let's mill. Let's get to it. All right, that's actually the end of my presentation. And I am more than open to answering questions for you guys. And listen, if I can't answer a question, I'll find an answer for you, okay?
Thank you so much, Eric. We do have a couple of questions. And
Sure.
The first one is, why do we regularly have issues with the angulated access holes while milling zirconia abutments, mostly in the anterior region? That's our first question.
Okay, the access holes, that's a great question. That's going to be a real specific case type that it's really going to be best to touch base with Zahn support on that one, because they want to see the specific file and the specific case that you're working on and show you right on your screen. So they have awesome features like Team Viewer, so they can you can share screens with them and they can see what's on your screen. You want to save any case like that you're having any kind of trouble. You click on, there's two ways to do it, but the easy way is to click on that white bar on the top of Millbox and then click on support and then save file, I believe it is the name of it. You want to save that file that you're having any trouble on so that when you call Zahn, they can see exactly what happened, same as what was on your screen. That's a great question.
Thank you. I have another one here. It says, say I get my Millbox software updated in February 2022. How do I know when more updates have been made to Millbox in that 2022 calendar year? And how do I get additional updates in that calendar year?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So I think the scenario is assuming somebody's going to buy updates in February 2022. Did I catch that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So a couple things. One, you can be subscribed to Zahn and you can just kind of keep up with their updates and search for Millbox. Secondly, we have release notes that happen in the software, and you'll see those each morning. You're probably used to just ignoring those, but those release notes are your news. You know, I don't know another way to say it, but your hot items news. It shows you what's been released, that if you haven't updated, you're not taking advantage of that yet. So that's both bug fixes, that's new features, that's enhancements. You know, half the reason why you stay up to date is to just get the enhancements, just make sure you're running as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. And probably the other half is really to make sure you get those bug fixes and make sure your software doesn't get out of sync. But the new features and that sort of thing, we're on pace. We do usually about one new feature every single month. You know, it depends on your business type and your business strategy, whether all of those new features are going to benefit you. Some labs certainly are sticking to very basic, you know, zirconia crowns and that's it, or maybe crowns and bridges. And some of our new features might pertain to access holes and some things that are, you know, different restoration types. So that's going to happen, but generally speaking, we're on pace to do about one new feature every single month. So you can update every single month to just stay on the latest and greatest and just ensure, hey, I'm staying up with all my patches and I'm also getting new features.
Perfect.
Great.
We have another one. It says, regarding those release notes. I'm just scrolling down here. Sorry about that.
No problem. While you're checking on that, I wanted to make sure I'm clear. So if you by in February, we'll just say February 1st, you have access to those updates all the way to December 31st. All right. Now it's the
Okay.
same if you buy July 1st, you have access all the way to December 31st. We do it by calendar year. Once it rolls around to the next calendar year, you need to buy that year's annual updates. So you're really buying ahead instead of buying backwards. At this point, if you want to catch up, that's what the catch-up plan is all about. That's going to catch you up. But then a really, really essential part of your business going forward is to plan on, you know, it should be treated as just a requirement. I have to do it for my business. In January, I'm going to pay to stay caught up and to be ahead all of 2022.
Okay. Next question is regarding the release notes. Once you click out of that release note, there's a pop-up. Is there anywhere SIM website inside the mailbox software, etc., that we can refer back to what those release notes were?
Yeah, that's a great question. On our website, the release notes, there's a link. I was going to say hotkey, but I guess it's the same thing. There's a link directly to the release notes. So if you Google Millbox release notes, that'll get you really direct there, or you can go to our website. You can type in CIMSystem.com and go there. We have a dental and a manufacturing side, so you need to go into dental. You can also go straight to millbox.com, leads you ultimately to the same place.
Excellent. The next one is, what is the timeline or turnaround time from when a lab requests an update from Zahn to getting the update enabled on their mailbox?
Oh, that's an awesome question, because I think the assumption there is that I don't want it to take long, right? Labs are in a hurry. We're all in a hurry. We don't. One thing, just speaking honestly, I pay for, for my family, I'm paying for these online Netflix and everything else. I hate that they have commercials in there now. I've gotten used to not watching commercials, and now I have to get used to watching commercials again, even though I pay for a subscription. So no one wants to wait, and we get that. So we've actually done something that no other software does. We've allowed, with the help of Zahn support, you to do a temporary access. We call it a temporary license. So if you've purchased the updates and it's just a matter of waiting for that, because sometimes it can be up to 2 weeks actually to fulfill that request, just given all the factors involved in that. So you don't need to wait 2 weeks. You can work with Zahn support and ask them for a temporary license, and they'll walk you through that. And it's an immediate update. And then once we're done applying that change to your actual dongle, they'll come back in and let you know. So the short answer is right away, same afternoon kind of thing. Maybe I better not make promises that Zahn dental support team has to keep, but same day, next day, that sort of thing, if you want to go the temporary ID route.
The next question are the updates required to do 90-degree milling?
Yeah, if you're on an older version of the software and you do not have the C-clamp, then you're missing both the hardware and the software that allows you to do that. Yeah, so you need the C-clamp that has open face, right, on one side instead of the completely closed clamp. And that hardware is, of course, available through Zahn. And then you need the newer update as well to make sure you can do targeted milling, to make sure it can read the fixture, first off. So if you have a 51D, for example, a Roland 51D, or a 52D, that C-clamp is available on both of those. It's not available on the older, on the older one, on the DWX50. It didn't exist at the time, so.
Okay.
Great question.
They're all great questions. If anybody has any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us here at Zahn Dental.